The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Happy Wednesday on FRC Media. I'm Keith Tebow. Thank you for joining us. As always, every Wednesday, we have the opportunity to speak briefly with the mayor of the City of Fall River, Mayor Paul Coogan, who joins us again this week. Mayor, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Keith. How about you?
I am doing well. I actually want to start with a follow-up. We've talked about this over the past few weeks, the update on the next school superintendent here in Fall River. Last week, there was the 4 finalists that were announced, and I know that time is a little bit of the essence. You'd like to get someone in place by July 1 when the current superintendent, Maria Ponce, retires. I know the next step now is public interviews with the 4 finalists. Any update you can provide on when some of these will take place?
No, we're looking at a couple of dates in June. Again, we have a couple of committee members that are traveling. There's other school events. There's graduations. It's just a tough time of year to coordinate getting 11 people all on the same page. Actually, more than that when you look at the support help. So that's our problem. We floated dates over and over. Some people can make it, some people can't. So we're trying to settle on a date. It looks like it will be the first or second week of June, but again, that depends on availability of everybody. I'll make time the best I can around anything. I want to just move this along and see where we end up.
Now, is there a thought of doing all 4 candidates one day, splitting them up? And I know there was also talk about maybe even doing site visits to their communities. So what do you think will happen?
I haven't heard anything on that, but I have heard on all 4 at once. Again, we'll see what the committee decides once we settle on a date and how the time frame is going to play out. There's always an opportunity for them to visit the sites, and we'll obviously have our company checking the references. So hopefully by the time we get to the public interviews, we know who are the people that at least meet the standards to get the opportunity to work for the City of Fall River.
In the meantime, I know that there are questions that are being, put together in conjunction with the Massachusetts Association of School Committees that is helping organize all this. Is there does the committee have to ask the same questions to every candidate?
Yes.
I know obviously their qualifications may be different. How does that work?
Well, that's the problem. You want to ask all the candidates the same questions so that you get a fair interview. Obviously, you're allowed follow up or to deviate if you want to, but at the same time, if you have a standard set of questions, then you can use a rubric to score them, and then again how they deliver them, how they present themselves. Those are all things that factor into any interview. So we want to try to make sure it's as fair as possible for all 4 of the candidates, and everybody gets an opportunity to hear them and makes their judgment.
All right, another follow-up on something we touched upon again last week, the dealing with the homeless encampments in Fall River last week. There was a movement to clean out the area along Lewiston Street, along 195, that state property, also around Brayton Avenue. There's also another encampment that has come up quite often in city council meetings down the far south end at the bottom of Kennedy Park along Bay Street, actually near the Tomeo Center, that area. Any movement on that?
We're getting ready to get a bid on the price to clean that up. It's obviously another rough spot. It's on the other side of the railroad tracks heading towards the water, somewhere up on the very end of Middle Street before you head down to the salt company there. But as was described last night in the council meeting, this is tough stuff. You have to get people out. You have to make sure they have another place to go. You give them enough notice. But we're looking at Kennedy Park as the next cleanup area for sure. As I said to you before, now I think we're up to 16 people that we took out of those 3 camps that are going to treatment, which is a big plus. And one wants to go to Tennessee and one to New York. So we're gonna accommodate them and then get them hopefully into a sober living situation so that we can get them back on the track. It's very, very frustrating, Keith, because this is not good. Joe's all set or Sally's all set. It doesn't work that way. These are ups and downs that go with the disease we're battling, the mental health issues, the anxiety, the loneliness, and we have our fast team out there, and obviously our partners in South Coast Health have people on the ground also trying to accommodate these people to see what we can do to help them. But it is a struggle, and we're going to just keep working and try to get through it.
Yeah. As we head again, just following up on the Memorial Day weekend, a great series of events honoring those who gave the ultimate sacrifice to our community and to our nation on Memorial Day. Now, the event season is really going to start kicking up. There are two big events this weekend. Let's start with the first on Saturday down at the Norton City Pier. The first full event there. We're going to be dedicating the new dock space there. Rock the Dock happens this Saturday, right?
The docks, yeah, that's going to be a good event. We're going to have obviously the dedication, and we've got 5 or 6 food trucks. We have a band called the Peach Eaters. They're Allman Brothers cover band. They travel all over New England, all over the East Coast doing shows. They're pretty well known. I think they're going to put on a good show for us. And again, it's a Saturday afternoon, 1 to 3. We'd love people to come down, get some sun. It's going to be a nice day. Enjoy some of our food trucks, listen to the music, and hopefully we have the water taxi pulling up there. That went over this weekend. That was spectacular. Saturday night we were down at one of the events at the Wall in Bicentennial Park, and I looked over and the water taxi was leaving at about 7:15 from the docks there, full load of passengers heading back towards the Tipsy and towards City Pier. And I said, wow, that's kind of taken off. I talked to Mike Lund down at the marina, and he said it was extremely busy all weekend. We also had a great event with the new trolley. We took 4 trolley loads of people out to do bird watching in the reservation and walk down to the edge of the drinking water to see what kind of animals were there. And they saw a deer, and there was some birds. There was a lot of bird watchers, and it was very, very busy and very, very active. And that's what we want in Fall River, some events for people to have some fun. And hopefully this weekend continues. And I believe next week we have a food truck night somewhere in there spun in. So things are going to get hopping very shortly now.
Yeah. And finally, of course, on Sunday down at the gates is the 5th annual Pride Festival, which has been a very successful event here in Fall River over the past 5 years.
Yeah, skip that one. I made every one of them, and I'll go down. I'll be down there Sunday. That's going to be at the gates. It's usually a lot of people. That's usually a big crowd, and it's a real fun time. And there's a lot of good events. There's a lot of good items for sale, and we hope people swing by the gates on Sunday. That'd be great too.
All right. Mayor, as always, thank you for your time. We're in that season where we're going to be talking about a lot of events happening down on the waterfront and across the city. So I do appreciate your time. We'll talk again next week.
Okay, thank you, Keith.
All right. And thank you for joining us here on FRC Media. I'm Keith Tebow. Have a great week.